The next type of loop that we need to have down is the for statement. The for statement has following syntax. It's going to come in three pieces, not counting the body. We're going to have an initialization, a condition, and an increment. For is going to be a reserved word, so you won't be able to use that for any variables. The initialization is executed once, and that's going to be important for a for loop because you know it's going to happen. The statement is executed until the condition becomes false. In between the two semicolons, you're going to put a condition that's tested each time, and the statement that is in the body of the loop is going to be executed until this thing becomes false. So be careful. If it never becomes false, it's an infinite loop. For our increment, the increment portion is executed at the end of each iteration. The condition statement increment cycle is executed repeatedly, so it's going to go over and over and over, and that's why we call it a loop. And the increment's going to be incremented depending on how you decide. It might be decremented, it might go down, it might go up, it's up to you. A for statement is functionally equivalent to the while loops you've been doing, only ahead of a while loop you'll have the initialization. In a while loop you'll have a condition that's checked each time, and then you'll have a statement. You could have several statements, but at the end of your statements, probably, you'll have an increment. You'll decide that C equals C plus 1 or something equivalent. And then it'll get to the end of the body of the block, and it'll go up to the while statement and check, is that condition true or false? If it's false, it'll skip it all and go after, pick it up after the while loop. If it's true, then it'll start again through the body. So for a for loop, it's pretty much the same as any other loop. We're going to have some sort of initialization. We're going to check if the condition has been evaluated. If it has, then we're going to perform the statement, and then we're going to perform an increment. We're going to raise C by 1 or whatever's appropriate. And then we're going to check, is the condition been, we're going to evaluate the condition. And if it's true again, we're going to keep on going through this loop over and over and over again as long as the condition is true. If, however, suddenly the condition doesn't appear to be true anymore, then we're going to continue past the loop. So, like a while loop, the condition for a for loop is tested before executing the body of the loop. Therefore, the body of the loop will be executed 0 or more times, but it might be 0. It's well suited for executing loops of a specific number. So if you know exactly how many times 100 bottles of beer on the wall, multiplication table, if you know exactly how many times, then you probably want to use a for loop. If you don't know, then a while loop, like how many times is the user going to use this program? They keep answering yes, they keep answering yes, they keep answering yes. All of a sudden they want to get out. They answer no. Well, you know how many times that loop's going to perform, so that's a good spot for a while loop. So let's take a look at one of the programs called Counter2. That's on page 150 of your book. So here in this program we have one variable which is not going to change its value. Its limit is 5. It's a for loop. So there's our initialization. It's an integer called count, and we're going to put a 1 in there first. Then we're going to check the condition. Is count less than or equal to limit, which is 5? And then we're going to increment it, and count's going to go up by 1. So let's try it. So the first thing this program's going to do is print out whatever count is, which the first time we go through this, it was initialized to 1. So first it'll print out a 1. This is the whole loop. You'll notice there's no braces around this statement. There doesn't have to be if it's only one line. So it's going to print out a 1. Then it's going to go back up here. We already initialized it. Is count less than, it's going to increment our counter first. So count's going to become 2. And it's going to check, is 2 less than 5? Yep. Do it again, and it'll print out a 2. Count is going to go up by 1, so now it's going to be 3. Is 3 less than 5? Yep. Print out a 3. Increment it, 4. Is 4 less than 5? Yep. Print it. It'll increment it to 5. Is 5 less than 5? Is 5 less than or equal to 5? Well, it is equal to 5. So that works, and we only need one true for an OR statement. So it's going to print my 5. Here we go, one more time. Count equals count plus 1. Now count becomes a 6. 6 is less than, nope, or equal to, nope. So it's going to finally jump out of this for loop. Then go. Continue on after that block and perform this statement. System out, print line, done.